Alright guys, we're back.
What up?
Road to S+. Hopefully you watched our mission 1 already, but if you haven't, go back and check it out. But this is mission 2.
Corruption.
Doing some corruption. Who we picking? Bake?
I believe Lupo is our girl throughout the entire series.
That's our go-to gal, son.
We did change up the gun. We're finally using the riot gun. It just fit a little bit better with this level. For me.
I know normally I think for part of this we've used the heavy machine gun. But I think for the most of it we've used the shotty.
Right.
But I think, like you said, you're just doing the riot gun for this particular level.
A little disclaimer that we always like to do during the loading screen. We're sorry if this is repetitive from the first one, and if you continue to watch the series, you'll hear a lot of the same stuff.
Right.
The reason behind that is if this is working on the achievement Great Success, which is get S+ rankings on veteran or professional. Right. And somebody may already have the S+ rankings on 1 through 6, or maybe 1. They're missing just this mission. Right. And we're trying to appease those people at the same time. So sorry if it's a little bit repetitive.
Right. But it's good for you guys to hear it again, like get it ingrained in your head. So let's go ahead and start this thing off. We just went through the first room, picked up a couple of intel in there. And so let's kind of explain the strategy we're going to use throughout this level. I know some levels you do get security cameras, some levels you don't. Let's talk about that versus intel and points.
Well, before we get into that, it has to be stated that there's a lot of ambiguity around these S+ rankings, a lot of vagueness. Oh, yeah. They give you a target time, but it's hard to tell what the actual target time is. Hold that thought because I'm going to come back to it. Okay. You can always, you will always be thrown in that room, regardless if you shoot or whatever. Now there's a barrel to the left that you can kill all of these people that I'm shooting right now. The only problem is I don't know if it gives you the kills, like if it counts as like 1 kill. I'm not sure if the game's counting that. Right. But back to what I was saying earlier, there's a lot of vagueness around the S+ rankings. They give you those target times. You're valued on or assessed on 4 different categories: the number of deaths, number of kills. There's a par time, and then the items collected. Right. We thought that originally that it was an XP based thing. Like if you get X amount, if you accumulate X amount of XP, then you will get the S+ rankings. Or if you get Y amount, then you just get the S. Right. But it appears that you don't have to worry about the security cameras when you're just doing S+ rankings. We have a video. Strictly, Exonovan did a good job on that. If you want to see all the S+, or excuse me, the security cameras, but they're not absolutely necessary. Do they hurt? Probably not. Right. Just get points. Right. But it's not going to make or break your S+, I guess, is the bottom line. Right. It's all about points. And we wish we could sit here and tell you have to get X amount of points, or we have to do exactly this, but I've had games where I'll get 3 S's and an A, and I'll get an S+ ranking. I've had missions where I'll go 4 S's and then I won't get an S+ ranking. So it's kind of hard. And we play on professional, and we don't know if, because I know you can get this unlock if you play on veteran. At least that's kind of what the unlock says. But we know we get some kind of bonus XP for beating it on professional. You'll see that at the end. You'll see it in green. It'll say plus, and it'll give us the points. So we're not sure if that helps to buffer maybe some of the things you do in the game. Maybe like if you don't get all the items or whatever. We're not sure. So if you're planning on veteran and you're having a hard time getting the unlock to pop, just give it a whirl on professional. It's not going to be that much more difficult over veteran. And see if it helps you with the bonus points. We just don't know. Now remind me after this section to talk about the intel. Okay. But I want to talk about this section right here because it gets a little tricky when you're using a shotgun. I actually, because we did a video where we bought all of the weapons, I had this pistol, which is the Samurai Edge, available to me. I would suggest using it. I personally think it's the best shotgun. I mean, excuse me, secondary weapon in the game. Obviously, you may have a different opinion, but I like it because it has light recoil and it's almost like an automatic weapon. It's like a laser. Right, and I can use that to handle my my long distance shots when I'm using the shotgun. Now, I always come to this spot after the first wave is done. I feel like this is the most strategic. You get a little bit higher ground, and the cover is long enough that you can take care of people on the left and people on the right. Right. You saw earlier the whole body Lupo's whole body turned white. That's the Super Soldier perk. We use that every time.
Right.
I think what we do is use Spectre to figure out where all the intel is, and we'll memorize it, memorize the level, and then we'll come back through and use Lupo, because with that Super Soldier perk, you can't get hit the first 5 times, and you're dealing 50% increase of damage, and it just helps save on the time.
Right.
You know, if I was using Spectre right now and I didn't have that little perk, it would take me quite a while.
Right.
And the other thing is, you can kind of get in these guys' face with the shotgun, because they can't hit you for those first 5 shots. So that kind of plays into the shotgun as well.
And you can juggle kill them on the ground. You're seeing him do that right now, where
yeah,
they're on the ground and he's still able to get hits. You know, use that to your advantage.
Yeah, this riot gun, this riot shotgun is awesome when dealing with Spec Ops guys, because you can juggle them.
Right.
You know, I think we ended up using the Juggernaut later on, because that specializes in killing hunters and tyrants.
On other levels.
Right.
Yeah.
But this particular level, I felt like the riot gun was the best choice. And I tried to play it with a lightweight machine gun and the MOB special, and it just was still took too long. It was easier to whip out the pistol and use that Super Soldier perk.
Yeah, I mean, there's something about wanting to use the guns with the heavy clip size, but they just don't kill quick on levels like veteran or difficulties like professional or veteran. I guess if you were going through it on casual, it's a couple hit kill, but having a shotgun is just
it's awesome.
It's 1 or 2 hit kills, man, and you can't beat that when you're pressed for time and you're pressed for kills.
Now back to the intel thing. We don't get every single piece of intel throughout this entire series. I think there's actually 36 pieces of intel on this level. We just show you, and I'm sorry it's not cut and organized, because I'm pressed for time. We've talked about doing an intel video. We're still not 100% maybe. I mean, we're kind of leaning on it.
Yeah, we're just kind of running out of time on Resident Evil. We still have to cover multiplayer, and we got to get ready for prototype, and it takes about a week to get ready. So if we get around to it, we're definitely going to shoot it, but we don't want to promise it at this point.
Right, yeah, we don't want to promise it. But
something we can't deliver.
But like I said, I'm sorry it's fast, and it's not clean and organized like the way we did the security cameras. But the other thing is, you don't have to get every piece of intel.
Right.
Also, and the only thing that intel is really good for is the gallery unlocks and these S+ rankings, and I guess you could say the XP.
Right.
But here's the thing about the gallery unlocks is you could memorize the first level where all the intel is for that level, and just continue to play the first level over and over. And as long as you're getting intel, you'll continue to get gallery. It's not like a specific piece of intel is tied to a specific picture.
Right, because I think at this point, while we're playing this footage right here, we've had the gallery open for days.
Right.
Because, and we're not even done shooting all the S+s yet, so. Because I think that's what people are thinking. I mean, that's what we thought, right? Is that every piece of intel was linked to a photograph or something to that effect, but not the case.
Right.
It's just unlockable as you go.
Now, here's a point that we didn't make earlier. We'll use this terminology either a zombie fest or a zombie nest, and that's basically areas that you want to spend some time and make sure that you kill every zombie, and you'll see why later on. Not only so we can make the quota. But it's easier to kill zombies in high numbers than it is like lickers or Spec Ops, because there's gonna be times where we just want to run through, and that way we don't have to waste the time or even fool with them, because you know there's a high probability of getting killed. And I forgot. Here's a good part: if you have a grenade, if you get one of these guys bleeding out, it's a good section to bleed one of them out, have all of these zombies rush in, and toss a grenade. That's typically what we like to do there. Unfortunately, we have a grenade on this particular run through. Right. That's a good strategy for that part.
Girl in the corner, boom.
I think the other thing, the other standard rule or tip that I could give is keep a timer with you, like on your phone,
laptop,
or your laptop, just so you can gauge how much time you can spend in a level. And when you're practicing, go ahead and time yourself too. When you're practicing, obviously when you're learning the level, it's going to be longer, but you can kind of gauge, okay, I need to be at this point by 5 minutes, or I'm usually at this point. So okay, maybe I didn't make that time. I need to bust it a little bit in the next couple of sections of the map.
And then also, if there's like a zombie nest or fest or whatever you want to call it near the end of a level, then let's say you're 10 minutes in, right? You got 10 minutes left on your timer before you reach the target time. Spend time and kill those zombies for those 10 minutes, because we've had it before. We've been 10 zombies off from our target and didn't get S+. So just make sure that if you have time, use it.
And that's really frustrating. That's the one thing. That's why we're doing this series, is not only so we can show you the achievements, that you don't have to go in there and do these levels 6, 7, 8 times the way we did.
Right. I mean, initially, guys, we just planned on showing you the last level with the unlock popping and kind of just talking about the target times. But
it was a little bit more difficult than that.
Yeah, I mean, so you're talking about, you know, most of these S+s take, I don't know, 20 to 35 minutes to do. So, yeah, it was a big deal for us to have to put audio commentary to every one of these videos for you guys. And it, you know, but we did it, right, because we felt like it was going to be a much better product for you guys to look at and learn from than us just showing you the unlock popping, which is what we planned on doing to begin with. So, you know, we're just kind of doing this for you guys.
Yeah.
So, and hopefully it helps.
This is a tricky section. Anytime you get with these Spec Ops guys, especially in this level, because this level tends to put the Spec Ops guys in groups, it gets hairy pretty quick, because they actually do take off a substantial amount of damage. What I like to do is get them, if you kill 1 or 2 of them, or kind of move up aggressively, you'll push them back into this corner. And what you can do is set up on these stairs, and it provides great cover, especially when you're playing like a third-person game, because your left side, the left side of your body is covered, but you can still shoot your gun off. As opposed to if the cover was on the right-hand side, you have to expose your entire body just so you can shoot your gun.
And let's talk about the herbs. I know you just walked past 2 herbs. Now, obviously, you don't need health right now, but I know there's a strategy behind that.
Was it the herbs by the red light?
2 herbs by the corner?
Yeah. A lot of this game backtracks, and hopefully I mention it every time, and you bring up a good point. I didn't even think about that. But a lot of times these games backtrack, right? So these 2 herbs up here in the left-hand corner by the red light,
yeah, they're right there.
We'll come back to these. So if it's not absolutely 100% necessary to use them, I would suggest not, because when you come back through, they kind of
they're
very valuable.
Yeah.
And if you need one, just try not to use both, because I know a lot of times we're tempted to
pick up things we see.
Well, that and it'll be like you'll have 80% health, right? You'll still be green, but there's another herb there, so your thought process is, well, I'm not going to come back to this section. Why not? Well, you do.
Right, you do. Yep.
That riot gun is awesome. This is the first time I've ever experimented with the riot gun, and it's awesome with these Spec Ops guys because it juggles them, and they can't shoot at all.
Right.
So what you do is like you get 4 Spec Ops guys in a group, and you shoot one at a time. Like put them on the ground. That way, none of them are shooting at you at all, and just kind of do like a 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of game. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Keep them all on the ground.
Right. Yeah. Right. Here's a cool little trick. If you do decide to play with Spectre, instead of having to shoot these servers, because it wakes up all the zombies when you do shoot the servers, there's actually a computer, and I'll point it out. It's directly to my left right now.
Right.
You can actually interact with that computer, not the laptop, but that actual computer, and it'll take all the servers off. And I know you get like a 200 XP bonus for, it's called Spectre's Challenge. So if you want to do that, you can. But yeah, we just decided to use Lupo. She's just our girl.
Plus, you know, we when you're going for S+, you kind of want the zombies to wake up so you can get some more kills. But, you know, if you're just going through and you're not worried about S+, there's some extra points for you.
Yeah, here's the other thing about these S+, is it kind of, like, we don't commentate on our Let's Plays. So this is almost essentially not only S+ rankings, but our walkthrough for this campaign.
Right, right.
Because we try to highlight all the sections that are tricky and best strategies to approach. So we're kind of doing a little 2-in-1 here.
You know, that'd be kind of nice to know. What do you guys think about Let's Plays? Should there be commentary on them? Should there not be? We've debated about doing commentary. We actually would like to do commentary over them, but I know some people don't like to hear commentary over Let's Play. They just want to watch it.
Right.
So let us know in the comments what you think about commentary over Let's Play so we can gauge what we're going to do next.
And I know we've even discussed... Ideally, it would be awesome if we could get the Let's Plays with commentary and have the same exact Let's Play without commentary. That way you had your preference. But we only have time for one, and I think we've even talked about not doing them at all.
Right, yeah, because some people don't care to even watch them. Like if they don't go up like the night the game comes out or the next day, typically people won't watch them. And typically we don't really care about, typically when we put videos up, we're not as concerned about people watching them as we are concerned about putting up good content.
Quality content.
But when it comes to stuff like Let's Plays, they take a long time to get on YouTube. Like you gotta film them, you got to edit them, render them, and it, you know, it takes 3, 4, 5 hours sometimes to get one mission up. And for those not to get views, that's a little bit tricky because we could be putting up unlocks. Like we could get 10 videos up in the same amount of time that you guys might be wanting to actually see. So just give us an idea of what you kind of want to see out of our channel. We know we've picked up some subscribers since Resident Evil came out, and you know we're here to please. So either you do or don't want Let's Plays, or you want them commentated.
Right.
So let us know.
And we'll talk about that more. We'll kind of have a final conclusion by our channel update.
Yeah, we got a channel update coming out between this and
we always try to do a channel update in between games just to keep the transparency there.
Yep.
Just so y'all know what we're thinking, our thought process, what we need, what we really need feedback from y'all for. So this particular section, you can either go left or right. The last time I did this, I went left, and this particular time I ended up going right. I used to think that you had a heavy tactical advantage going to the left, but after this round, I would say it's almost 50-50, almost a preference. I will say that there's 2 pieces of intel on if you do go to the left, and there's 1 piece of intel on the right, so that may be a little bit of advantage. I tried to get both, or I believe I do run back and get all 3 pieces of intel. But regardless if you go left or right, you're going to run into one group of Spec Ops on the left hand side, and then one in the back. They'll meet you in the middle. So there's 2 groups. Regardless of which way you go, it's the same amount of enemies. Right. But as far as the tactical advantage, now it's 50-50. I used to think the left had it. Right. But
I know we had some trouble here when we first played through our first Let's Play.
Right.
We went right, I think, and we had the heavy machine gun, which was probably not a good choice of guns. And we didn't really know about...
I don't think we had perks either.
We didn't really know about perks or how to use Super Soldier. I mean, you know, we were just playing for the first time, and we struggled on that right wall. I mean, we died numerous times. Man. But now it's almost like, we really died that many times? That's not that bad.
Now, when it comes to this room, you have to take out these 5... what are they?
Like evidence, blueprints or something.
Blueprints, that's a good way to describe it. I tried to map it out specifically. I tried not to take any wrong turns so you wouldn't get confused, that you could follow this the best way that you can. But there's 5 pieces of evidence, and there's a couple pieces of intel. Hopefully this, I slowed it down and did it well enough to where you can come in this maze and just knock it out by following this video. I wanted to make it to the point where you didn't have to rewind it or watch it. Right. You could just find one piece of evidence, pause, watch how I got the second piece of evidence, do it, unpause, right, pause and unpause throughout. But I remember one time I got lost in this maze for literally 30 minutes. I literally got lost. Yep. And the tip here is to turn up the brightness on your computer or
your TV.
Yeah. All the way that you can. You can't tell it in the video because the capture only does a certain resolution, correct?
Like a RGB level. Yeah, it's the same. In other words, if we were to turn the brightness on our TV down all the way to 0 right now, it would still look just like you see it right now.
Right. But that really helped out. The game kind of looked funky, but it was easier to find those pieces of evidence when I turned the brightness all the way, and then I just paused it and brought the brightness back down.
Right, and if you're ever having trouble finding anything in the game, anything that's laying on the ground,
like a door,
just turn your brightness up. It's with any game you ever play, turn the brightness up, and you'll have a much better time. I'm not saying maybe do it your first time through, like, you know, experience the game and the lighting that it's supposed to be, but if you turn your brightness up when you're looking for things, you'll find them a whole lot easier.
Now, this is one of those sections that you're going to be really thankful that you spent the time to kill all the zombies because you can just run through it. Lickers are, I cannot stand lickers. I think they're the worst enemies in this game. They annoy the crap out of me. They're almost as bad as the Flood from Halo. I can't stand them. So anytime I get to run through lickers, it makes me excited.
Right, or hunters.
Or hunters.
That's like your second worst.
Yeah. Well, now that it's a shotgun, it's not too bad.
Mm-hmm.
But these lickers, they grab you, and then you gotta do the left thumbstick and
get infected.
Yeah. That's the coolest piece of intel right there in the entire game.
One in the fire.
The one in the fire. In my opinion. I thought that was the coolest one.
So we're saving a ton of time here, guys. I don't know if well, I'm sure you have if you beat the game. You've beaten all the lickers in the level before. Even on professional, right? It takes some minutes off your final time. So. And
the probability of dying when you're in there and there's fire and that you can get infected and there's not a lot of antiviral spray. That really makes a difference.
Now this is one of the parts we talked about earlier, where if you have a timer,
right?
Talk to them about this part, because I know that sometimes you'll stay here for quite some time.
Yeah, I'll stay here. I try to beat the par time by at least 5 minutes. I just read that on a forum, and I've just tried to. We don't know if that's 100%, but I've just been trying to do that. But I had a lot of time to kill. And why not? Why not go ahead and match your quota? Maybe you died one time and you exceed your kill quota so far that the game, you may get an A, but it gives you may get an A and 3 S's, but the game go ahead and rewards you, right, to give you that S+. Now, I'm sorry I got infected. I wanted to point out the typewriter. We have a typewriter video, but there's a typewriter right there on the left.
On the desk, yeah.
Yeah, I try to stay in there as long as I can. Make sure that you hit the laptop. That's the last laptop in the level. And then just exit City Hall. And I think we got 34 pieces of intel. There's actually 36. But you can see we clearly exceeded everything. And you should have no problem if you follow this guy.
You know, we had a good 14 minutes left. We could have hung out and got
more
if
kills. I hadn't gotten
infected,
infected, I probably would have stayed in there and got a lot more kills.
And that's 9,090 experience. That's pretty good. For you playing through. So we will see you guys in the next mission.
What is that? Lights out?
Lights out.
That's like some Muhammad Ali boom boom.
Yeah, boom boom. Well, we hope you enjoyed the video. If you're looking for trophies and achievements, just click on the icons in the top left.
You can always find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. Links are in the description. Just let us know what you think and definitely what you want to see next.
And aside from those sticky notes, there's always that miscellaneous box full of random content, but you never really know what you're going to get.
And hey, if you like what we do, subscribe. Thanks.